and welcome back to another episode on the Lexi's Leukemia Warrior channel. Today I'm going to be showing you all how I make my daughter's favorite food, pancakes. So as I said before, I am going to be showing you how to make pancakes. Welcome back, I'm Jenna, and this is the Lexi's Leukemia Warrior channel. So pancakes happens to be one of my daughter's favorite foods. And when she was first diagnosed with leukemia in July of 2018, they put her on very high doses of steroids that caused her to be hungry all the time. And she puffed up and she gained a lot of weight. She was eating tons of carbs, including pasta, and then the other main one was pancakes. But they told us that was okay because there was going to come a time where she wasn't going to want to eat. So now she loves to eat pancakes. She loves syrup. She was going to help me make this video today, but her dad is actually off of work today. And she asked for pancakes but didn't want to help make the video because she would rather spend time with him because he does have a job that requires him to work a lot. So let's get into it. I have a really basic pancake recipe. What I have here is all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups. I have 3.5 teaspoons of baking powder, not soda, powder. I have 1 tablespoon of sugar. And I have not quite a teaspoon of salt. The recipe does call for a full teaspoon, but I usually use salted baking butter in my baking and cooking, even when it calls for regular, because we just seem to have really salty palates. Bad, I know. So in order to control the amount of salt going in, since I'm using salted butter, I don't quite use the full teaspoon because you are going to get a little bit of salt from the butter. So that's all of my dry ingredients, and I literally just dump them right into the bowl. And then I take a whisk and just mix in all the dry ingredients. And then when I have all the dry ingredients combined, I'll kind of take my spatula and I'll just kind of scrape the dry stuff to the side so that you've got a little hole in the center. Now, I'm gonna set that off to the side for a minute. Talk about the wet ingredients. Like I said, this is super simple. You've already got the dry part of your batter ready to go. So for the wet ingredients, I've got milk in here, 1 1/4 cups. I probably wouldn't use skim milk. 2% is what we have at our house. Whole milk would be even better, but whatever milk you have on hand will probably work. If you do use the skim, expect your batter to probably be a little bit thinner. I also have 1 egg and 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Now, that's it on the wet ingredients. You're probably looking at me going, where's the vanilla? Yes, lots of regular traditional pancake batters have vanilla in them. I've done it with and without vanilla, and unfortunately my daughter's chemo taste buds and her nose has become super sensitive, and she much prefers a savory pancake compared to one that might have that little hint of sweetness. She can actually taste when I've added it and said that they don't taste good. Even when I didn't tell her that I did anything different and I tried to pass it off with my regular pancake, she was not having it, so I just don't put any vanilla in. But if you wanted to add vanilla, the place to do it would be in the milk now, and you could add a teaspoon of vanilla. So for the wet mixture, what I'm going to do is I am going to put the egg right into the milk. And I actually do this this in a big measuring glass so that when I'm all done, I can just pour it right into the dry. And I'm going to kind of take my fork and just kind of scoop out the egg and break it up a little bit. So then that way I can mix it. Now, sometimes I'll use another smaller measuring cup to melt the butter in, but today, since I'm doing the dishes now, the dishwasher's running as we speak, I just have this bowl. So once you have the milk and egg mixture mixed up, you're going to combine it with the butter, but you don't want to just dump this right into the hot butter, or the butter is going to seize up on you and the egg might start to cook a little bit, and that's gross. So I always try to melt the butter if I know she wants pancakes. I'll do that before I even assemble anything else, so the butter can already start to be cooling a little bit, but you're still probably going to have to temper it just a bit. And so what I mean by tempering is I'll kind of take my fork that's got a little bit of mixture coated on it, and I'll start stirring the butter. And as I'm stirring the butter continuously, I'm going to dump just a little bit, just a little pour in there, and I am going to then stir that in until it's combined really well. And then I'm going to pour just a little bit more of the cold milk and egg mixture in there. And by doing that, you're allowing the butter to cool down slowly enough that it won't seize up on you, because I've had that happen before when I didn't realize you should temper it when I first started making this recipe, and my batter was very lumpy and did not have enough liquid because all the butter seized up on me. So after about 3 or 4 times of pouring a little bit in there and making sure that it is completely mixed together and not seizing up, I'll swap my fork over to this mixture, and you're basically going to pour your buttermilk mixture back into the bigger milk egg mixture, and you want to constantly whisk because you want to make sure that your butter does not seize up on you once you pour it in there. And if you did it correctly, then it should be that when you stir up the big mixture, you don't have any clumps that kind of looks like congealed butter in there. And it seems as though it worked for me today. So I am going to go ahead and pour this into the hole that I made in the center for the dry mixture. Nothing like cutting it close whenever your big bowl is also in the dishwasher, so you use your medium-sized bowl instead. So I'm going to be extra careful when stirring to make sure it doesn't slosh over the sides. And then I'm slowly going to incorporate the flour on the sides. And the one thing I've discovered with pancake batter is you actually don't want to mix it too much, because if you over mix, you end up getting a really tough batter, and it just doesn't work out. And it's okay if your batter's a little lumpy. Like, you don't want it to be super duper lumpy. Obviously you want all the flour to be mixed in, but your batter is not going to be smooth, like super smooth and runny like a crepe batter or something. It's not like you're putting it in the blender or anything. So just barely mix it up to where all the flour has been thoroughly mixed in. You may have to scrape the sides and the bottom a couple of times to get all that flour mixed in. And if for some reason you feel like it's still too lumpy and still too thick, you can always thin it out with a little bit of milk, and it's not going to hurt your pancakes one bit. Because it kind of depends on the weather a little bit. Sometimes I do this exact same recipe and I get a really nice batter, and other times I just get it and it's a little bit thick. Or if for some reason your butter seized up on you, it didn't temper right, you could always add in a little milk, and that will help to emulsify that butter a little bit. All right, that's it. That's all she wrote for pancake batter. So next I'm going to get my pan hot and do the traditional cook on a pancake. And I usually, when I make the pancakes, use a 1/4 cup measuring spoon. My daughter can't eat a huge pancake, so those are just about the right size for us, and it'll yield about 8 to 10 pancakes. And that's a lot, but I can put them in a Ziploc bag and save them for a couple of days on the counter, Or if I know she's not going to be eating them again right away, I'll wrap them and individually freeze them. And then you can pull one out, pop it in the microwave, and you're ready to go. Alright, so I've got my griddle heating up. I love this griddle because it's flat on one side and then the other side is ridged like a grill, so I can use it a lot. So I'm going to take my 1/4 cup scoop, and I don't like to really overcrowd my griddle because then I can't flip them very well. So I'm just going to do about 4 at a time. And basically, it's a game of waiting. Just waiting for those bubbles to surface and pop. And then I'll flip. And I actually like to take a stick of butter. So I needed 3 tablespoons of butter earlier. So I cut that off, and then I'll save the rest for the pancakes. And I'll actually, when they come off the griddle, coat them with butter, and it really helps it sink in, so that way whenever you go to freeze them and then you reheat them, they stay nice and fluffy, and it doesn't taste like they were sitting in the freezer. Alright guys, so I'm all done with the griddle. I was able to get about 9 pancakes this time, and as you can see, I have got a perfect plate of pancakes here. So I am going to get one of these ready for my daughter. She absolutely loves syrup and will eat pancakes any time of the day. So that is it for today. We'll have another cooking video for you next time. Hopefully she'll feel more up to being in the video because she loves to show off her cooking skills. Please, if you haven't done so already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you like our videos, and hit the bell so that you can be notified every time we pop up with something new. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'm Jenna Garner, and this is Lexi's Leukemia Warriors.